Okay, so I had some technical difficulties, but what you want to do is take some sand, any sort of sand. For instance, this is Sandtastic brown colored sand, and layer it in like this in the area, kind of just fill in as much as possible of what you can get with what you have. Take an eyedropper as close as possible to lower the amount of spreadage from the actual glue mixture, which is 1/4 glue and the other 3 parts are water with a tad bit of alcohol in it to make it spread. And what you want to do is fill in the whole area until everything is dark. Like, you can kind of see it happening now. So I'll cut back to that once I have this whole area done. So now, after that whole little layer, you can tell this whole scene is looking a lot more dirty. But it looks a lot more natural, this texture, than what's over here. If I zoom this up, you can clearly see the difference of what the sand does. Now, most people say to use dirt. I don't really like dirt that much. It doesn't really appear once you add all these grasses and stuff. But what we're going to start with now is taking some Woodland Scenics fine grass. We're going to just, in patches, kind of sprinkle that around. This is burnt green I'm using right now to give some dead grass appearance. And then I will go in with a mix of dark green and burnt green. And just very lightly, like very lightly add some. And you can see it's starting to appear like it's grass. So what I'm going to do is really start doing this here. Now, the goal of this scene is supposed to be Cuyahoga Scenic Valley Railroad. Look that up. You'll understand the whole look of it. There's these huge hills around there. Or even Cass Valley you can look up with the hills. But in autumn, it's amazing how it looks. So what I'm going to do is go back with my bottle here. And after that lands, lightly lock it in place with more glue. It's all about the layering. Take your time and keep this as low as you can without touching. If you leave it too high, like this, when it hits, it'll just leave a little divot. So you want to, bring it down. And then after you put some down, just pour a bit more on and flatten. Use the already wet adhesive here and start adding some more grass, because most of it will be washed away or moved by the soap, or not soap, like you can either use alcohol or dish soap. For this second batch I'm using dish soap, which kind of spreads out too, but you mix that with water and glue. I meant glue, but what you do is you just do this. Take your time. I'll come back once I get all this done for this little scene. Okay, I'm stopping it right now because I have a perfect example of what not to do here. I can show you right here. where there's starting to be divots bored out from when the water hits, it disperses all the grass. So don't do it from a tall height or that'll happen. In this case, I might keep those because that's where I'm going to be gluing down some of the WWS grass. So I'm just gonna finish that up. It's already almost done anyway, so yeah, like what I'd like to do is almost like a needle. Get it in there and just do it from one spot. Let it move around, and then just the one spot you just fix. Really helps with getting a lot of this stuff locked down without making a big mess of your tools. So that should be good for now. As you can see, the area is starting to look greener. You know what? I might add a bit more. Another way you could do it is, before you even attach it, just flood the place with this glue. You can see it's starting to expand and seep into stuff. So what you do is you just put that around. You wait until like all the bubbles disappear. Boop. Okay, so then we're just gonna layer in some of that, and you can see it's starting to be glued in place instantly. But this is model railroading, basically, in my perspective. It's all about the looks of the layout. It doesn't matter about doing all these, is it accurate, is it inaccurate, does it have a time. What I like to do is just have a layout that is beautiful to look at and perfect for videos. I'm sure most of you would agree. Well, unless if you're my friend Josh. I'm just kidding, buddy. But, you know. You can also do this for other sorts of layouts, but mine's mostly a scenic layout. So the most important thing is scenery. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'll come back to it once that dries. Then we can get on to the fun part of adding flowers and static grass. Okay, so I'm back. This is dried already. So what I'm going to show you now is right here I placed my little weathered steam locomotive that I've done myself. Just to give an idea and some track. It's not actually down yet. This would be flat, but the whole point is to give you an idea of what we're going for. There's going to be a double line here, but this gives you an idea of how this will look. So I'm going to show you how I apply static grass. It might be slow, but it works for me without an applicator and still have it stand up. Now people might be saying, wait, what? There's ways to apply grass without the applicator? There is, my friends. So what you do is you make a little pool like that of glue. And you kind of blow on it to make it, spread a bit more. So I'm going to move this over. There we go. That's a good pad to put the grass. So what you do is you take a clump of grass in your fingers and you pluck it. You pluck it and you start rolling it like this, and it goes straight up. Come on, focus. Let me see if it'll catch this. But anyhow, it sticks straight up. So what you do then is lightly just do that. And then, tap it once and it starts to spread out. You do this over and over again until you have the appropriate look of static grass. Now, the one thing you want to worry about is bunching your grasses up, making them not stick up right like that. What you do is you just, I'm sure you could just vacuum up whatever's not sticking. But you just pull out whatever isn't from the top here. In fact, let me grab my tweezers right here. Make it a lot easier on both of us. What you do is you just grab it, whatever's just loosely hanging, and you just pull it up. Now, this might take a while, so I'm gonna go to another time lapse. Okay, now that we have our tuft, it's a bit easier to see, and I'm gonna zoom in. That's actually sticking up, and what I did to make it look like clover that we get like tons of is I took some of this mix right here, which is a 50-50 mix of the dark green and the burnt green, and I just put it and sprinkled it right on top of there with a little bit of the, what is it, 25% glue mix we used earlier. So what you do then is, you know, continue on, do more of it. But for this video, I'm just gonna go and finish this up. What I'm gonna use next is WWS actual flowering flock, which is this little, you know, it's like yellow flock you can get from Woodland Scenics, but they don't make them that much in these colors. What you do is you take your needle and you just dab it around. If it'll stick, there we go. You see how we're getting some little globs of glue there? Actually, let me fix this one up a bit. That was a bit too big of one. But let me see if I could show you what I mean. You just kind of drape it over it. That's good enough. And what you do is, what I do is I take tweezers and I just go in there with this yellow, and there's a flower. You guys might think that's a bit excessive, but it really pays off. Now, another alternative you could do is just, you know, do all the dots you need, put all the yellow on, and then blow it off, or use a vacuum to get rid of it. So I'm going to come back once I have this whole area done. I'm not even going to do a time lapse, it's going to take too long. Okay, so here's some completed tufts. But what you can also do, which I recommend you do, is make grass tufts. Now, grass tufts, you just take a piece of wax paper and do it on. But what you could do is just peel them off. Like right here's a completed tuft. Look how beautiful that is. What you do is you just peel it off, put a bit of glue on the back of it. Find a place to place it in the scene. Let's go with right here. You place that bugger, and you add a bit more grass there. Look at that. Fits like a charm. So thank you guys for watching. I would have to say that these WWS Scenics products with the flowers, these little rocks, which, let's face it, they're just rocks, but they're nice. The grass, they're all pretty good. I would have to give them a 9 out of 10. Now, I will warn you, it does take a long time if you're living in the United States to get it. But in this case, the time is worth the money. Or the time is worth the wait. For the reasons of, let's just all face it, this stuff looks too blue. Now, it works fine. Oh, gonna show you another use I found out of this. Pine trees. Made some pine trees out of the static grass. Actually, let me get the good one out. But yeah, that's kind of cool. So, you can find plenty of uses for these things. But even before I go, I'm just gonna do something real quick so you can see it. I'm going to plant a tree. So what I'm gonna do is, right here's a big mound of plaster. I'm gonna take my X-Acto blade and start turning it. And as you can see, whoop. Let's turn it the other way, shall we? Okay, there we go. We have a nice hole drilled there. I just blew that stuff away to make sure it doesn't come back up. Okay, that's good enough. What I like to do, fill the whole thing up with glue. Take our tree here. Plant the tree. Now I'm gonna have to do some touch-ups on this now. You can see there's a hole there. You just take or you can do it before you place the tree, add that stuff back in, and then just like push it in and it'll hold itself there. But you know, kind of bury the area, make it unnoticeable. And now we have a tree. So yeah, I really like how these tufts look. In fact, before I go, this is the final thing I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna pop off and there goes the tree, timber. Crap, I'm gonna have to rebuild that one. Oh well. Final thing I'm gonna do is pop off a no, doesn't look like. There we go. Just rip off another tuft here. Probably should have done this on wax paper. I put it on normal office paper, which was a mistake. Here we have a bit of flowers, which I'll put right there. Put this tree back up. But this time we're gonna lean a bottle there so it doesn't fall over again, like it did the first 3 times. And we should be good. So, nope, actually, I lied again. God dang it. I forgot about the rocks. The rocks are very important to have in this scene if you're going for an alpine look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rock. This is a chip off of a real rock. Forget doing those Woodland Scenics molds. It's not really worth it, but just gonna try to get that to stay. You know what? I'll do the tree a different time. It's wanting to fall over. It's obvious I'm gonna have to put some clay there. But let's just say there's some rocks here from like around Cuyahoga where the glaciers cut through. There's these huge cliffs that over time they erode and slabs fall. So I'm gonna just put this like right here. That'll work right in there. Okay. So yeah, what you do then is, you know, I'm gonna have to wait because I don't have any on me, but you add bushes and stuff. But yeah, that should be it for this episode. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time with more reviews and uses of materials. But before I go, I have to say again, just go with WWS instead of Woodland Scenics. I mean, Woodland Scenics is good for this ground foam. It's okay. It has a lot of color into it. But the problem is, their fibers, again, they don't have that. So, I'm just gonna patch this up, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time with more model railroading, Lego railroading, and reviews.